Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Hello. Welcome 2021. It's Carmen, your divine synergist of Heart's Joy. Thank you so much for joining this week's discussion and our first discussion of 2021. And as you've noticed, we have shift days. So now Monday evenings, you can find us on YouTube or on both pages on Heart's Joy, Facebook as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're going to focus on what to expect in 2021. You know, everybody kept talking about how 2020 is going to be, you know, the year of clarity, and we see things clear, and we have our 2020 vision now. And the truth is, that happened. It just happened very differently than what we expected or how we thought. And that's true in life with anything, or at least anything I've done. What I've planned has turned out totally different and frankly a lot better because I'm not the one in charge. God's in charge. The divine's in charge. So let go of, you know, what is 2021 going to look like specifically? And I'm going to focus on the energies of 2021 and what to expect from that point of view. So 2020 gave us a lot of great lessons. And depending on where you are along your soul's journey, the lessons clearly are going to look different. So some people learned self-care. Some people learned to self-love. Some people really started to understand, what do they really want? I had a lot of people, as soon as, you know, we were asked to go into quarantine, of, I'm unhappy with my job. Help me figure this out. We started to get clear about how we want to spend our time, who we want to spend our time with, which is essentially our energy. We started to really understand what matters to us and who those people are. The other thing that some people got clarity on is, why am I really here? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? And if that's you, you are in the right place. Now, some people received clarity in the political realm. They started to really see things for the reality instead of what we're being told by mainstream media. For those of you who don't know, there's this energy veil that's been lifting, and I equate it to the Wizard of Oz. So as you know, Dorothy draws back the curtain and sees the wizard who's running all the operations behind the scenes. That's basically what started to happen in 2020. And a lot of people are joking around about, well, it's, you know, 2021's got to be better. 2020 was the worst year ever. Yell Jumanji. And yes, it's fun to say those things. And we actually are creating things by doing that, because the universe doesn't understand sarcasm, doesn't understand the joke of it. So really focus on what were those lessons that you got to learn, and then, like, where did you receive clarity in 2020, and then understand that 2021 is going to have a different energy with it, because it's a new year, new energy. We're going to go into that here in a minute. And just know that this is the beginning. So there is no yelling Jumanji. There is no going back now. And frankly, I don't want to go back. I don't know about you. I'm ready to move forward. We are possibility, and we get to experience all the possibilities. You know, some people say, well, the sky's the limit. And I say, there are no limits. The limits are in our brains. The limits are ourselves that we put on us. And some of you started your spiritual journey. Some of you reached out to me and were like, okay, I'm ready. I know you know this, and help me. How does this work? You're in the right place. The biggest thing is really to give thanks. I call it thanks, not gratitude. Use whatever word resonates with you, and thank for both the lessons and the accomplishments, because a lot of us did accomplish a lot of things last year, and really celebrate those. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. Please celebrate those, and you can still do that. Absolutely, anytime. I just wrote mine down and really started to focus on what it is that I want to experience in 2021, both personally and professionally. And when I look back, I was like, wow, I actually did accomplish a lot. Pretty proud of that. So give yourself a pat on the back because you deserve it. All right, so let's get into the numerology of 2021. All right, so numerology, how numerology works is we look at not only individual numbers, we look at numbers collectively. So when you add up 2021, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, you come down to one number, which is a 5. So we were in a 4 foundational year in 2020. And we were basically starting to break down and crumble the old systems that didn't serve us to create these new foundations. That's what that was for a 4-year last year. 5 in numerology is a year of change. It's a year of travel. The 5 energy is there's a lot of energy happening at one time. So it's a lot of almost Aries energy or go energy. Got to be moving, got to be doing something all the time. So you may feel a variety, like you want to go do a variety of things. You may feel a little scattered at times just because there's so much energy. You may feel like taking a risk. Hey, it's time. It's time to go try this new thing that I've always wanted to do. Think of a 5 as a rocker. Think of it because the 5 at the bottom and it rocks back and forth because there's a lot of energy going back and forth. And so you're going to experience the flexibility and change. We're going to see a lot of change in 2021. By the way, we can't be shown everything at one time because us humans we can't absorb all the information just yet. You know, some people have been asking me, are we going to see aliens? I was hoping for it. I know Lori Ladd, I follow her. She said she doesn't think so right off the bat, just because not everybody can absorb all of that information at one time. Just using that as an example. Think of the 5 is in between the numbers 1 and 9. So it's in between. So we're almost in between what was and what is gonna be. So think of it that way as well. And remember, as this in-between time, remember to use what you learned in 2020 as you step into 2021. Don't focus on what went wrong in 2020. Focus on what you learned. My dad used to say this, he still says this to me. You know, growing up, he always used to say, take the good and leave the bad. And that's basically what I'm asking each one of you to do. So take all the good that you got out of 2020, all the beautiful lessons as we step into 2021, because we're going to use those going forward, not just in 2021 and beyond. Some of the predictions that I've heard, I've read, they're saying that there's a lot of abundance in 2021. So think about that. I've been experiencing it already. I feel it. I see the shifts, and I'm personally experiencing it myself. So yes, will mainstream media tell you one thing? Absolutely. And there's also a lot of abundance out there as well. So notice the narrative that you're paying attention to and that you're really focused on, because that is what is really gonna create your 2021 for you. Now, start to think about, what do you want your life to look like in 2021? And I asked everybody this during quarantine. And as far as I'm concerned, this is it, right? And we get to choose. And some people I've talked to said, hey, I like my life like this. I'm, not much is going to change. Some people feel like they want to go back to the way things were for them before. Maybe it was working for them. Focus on what you want your new lifestyle to look like. And I'm going to ask you to look at it from a fifth dimensional perspective. And I'm going to explain what that means here in a minute. Start to ask yourself, what does your personal freedom look like? What do you want your personal freedom to look like? Don't focus on what you're being told about certain things in the media. That's the media. I want you to separate those two, and I want you to solely focus on what you want your personal freedom to look like. Do you want to work from home? Do you want to travel? Do you want to go back to dating? Do you just want to continue Zoom all the time with everybody to connect with your friends, your family? What is this going to look like for you? We know what we experienced in 2020, and we get to shift from there. We are so incredibly powerful that we get to choose. We've already shifted timelines. We collectively as a consciousness are creating this experience. And so we get to choose what this is going to look like for us. And keep in mind the energies that I'm sharing with you as well. So write it down. I actually bought a sketch pad where I'm sketching out, I want this house, and here are all the different rooms that I like, and this is what I want it to look like, and then focus on the feeling. That's what the feeling is, the vibration. Everything's a vibration. We're all energy vibration. Energy is just vibration. And so match that vibration. That's one of the ways, besides taking action, that you call it into yourself. We're always creating. It's just a matter of, are we consciously creating what we want? So now is the time to consciously create what we want to experience. So let's talk about this from a fifth dimensional perspective. And if you aren't sure what fifth dimension is, and this may be a foreign language to you right now, I encourage you to go back. I did a couple of different videos a few months ago about third dimensional versus fifth dimensional, and then the actual perspective of it from a power as well, because there's different powers that each perspective holds as well. So third dimension is very much a fear-based. And I like visuals, so we're going to use this quick visual. It's a fear-based, so I've put on these glasses, these lenses that I'm looking at things through, and I'm very much afraid, and it's very much me versus everybody else, and I have to be right. It's a very ego-driven way of thinking and a way of living life. And we can't really create from the ego. So we basically are creating what we don't want from the ego. Think of it as you're creating this energy wall in front of you, not allowing in any blessings. Who wants that? When you put on your fifth dimensional glasses, these are my 5D glasses. I'm looking at things from a higher vantage point, looking down, very detached, and saying, oh, well, that's interesting. I'm very interested about what's happening on Earth, and I see what's happening, and I see people are angry, and the anger is the 3D, and the fifth dimension is up here. And you don't get triggered. You're not triggered by what people say, by what they're doing. If and when you get triggered, because we all do, that's if something triggers us, then we get to shift. If it doesn't trigger us, then it had nothing to do with us, and it was just that other person projecting onto us. Fifth dimension living is from that oneness. It's the, I give this to you because I love you because you're my brother, you're my sister. And I don't put any conditions around it. And it's very much love vibration from our soul. So heart versus head or ego. So what would your new lifestyle look like from that perspective instead of living in your ego? What would change for you? Whether it be your job, how you show up, where you live, who you're hanging out with. Ask yourself, what would that look like for you? Now, for some of us, we've kind of already shifted into that. I did a huge shift a few months ago during this time. And as you do shift, I ask that you honor yourself and show yourself grace. Because sometimes when we experience shifts like that, we start to feel the projection of that 3-dimensional, because we've got people around us who are in that 3D and they're projecting onto us and they don't understand what's happening. And so show yourself grace and show them grace. Listen to your intuition, connect with what I call your inner divine self, that relationship with your soul, that wisdom from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and connect with God and your angels. That's who you're going to listen to throughout 2021. So, if you are interested at all and would like to focus on truly consciously creating your life and creating a life that you're going to enjoy and that you're going to love, that's abundant and joyful, and you'd like to work together, I've got a couple of different opportunities for you. The first one is the Create Your 2021 Vision Workshop. So a lot of people come up with one word or a couple words for the year. They create resolutions. And as we all know, a lot of times resolutions don't stick. During this workshop, you're going to come up with 5 to 6 ways that you want to feel, because how you feel is how you end up showing up. And there's a reason why we create that many, because there's different facets to your life. It's not just 1 or 2 words. And we're going to create intentions for every single life area. And then you're going to create one intention that you're going to focus on. We're going to use the daily journal as your action steps going forward. And this actually does include your numerology. So you're going to understand what your personal year is, which is from your birthday to birthday, along with your personal energies as well. As I mentioned, 2021 is a 5 energy. It is very helpful if you also know what your energies are as well when you're making decisions and how to navigate that. So the next one actually is, I closed down the registrations for it. So the last one is going to be January 23rd. They're all virtual, 9 to 4:30. And you also get a gift box either mailed to you, or if you are here locally, we can set up a time to meet. And the other opportunity, if you are curious why you're here, if you're curious about how to connect with your angel guides, your spirit guides, really understand your soul's contract, which is the numerology, where we can look at what the lessons your soul chose to learn before you came here, and really understand why you're here and how to use that fire that you're feeling every day for good, and how to make a change in the world and make a living at it. That's the Live on Purpose course. And you're going to snag your spot by February 5th. And that is all virtual. It's an 8-week course. And we meet 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. And there's activity sheets. You will also receive 2 energy stones. And there's also a special surprise that I will announce this coming week as well, that everybody starting this year is going to receive in the course as well. I will be sure to drop those links in the description. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, contact me. Thank you all so much for joining. Really appreciate you taking time out. And feel free to post comments below and let me know if you have any questions about what else to expect in 2021. And before you go, y'all know I love cards. I do cards. So I've pre-shuffled these, and I'm actually going to pull a little differently than what I typically do. This is the Universal Prophecy card deck. And if you are interested in angel card readings, let me know. We can do those virtual or in person. But I'm going to pull a card for what is a message for us for 2021. What would they like for us to know for 2021? Do this a little differently than what I typically do. Pulled 2 cards for us. And the first one is harmony, one of my favorite words, y'all. So a lot of people love the word balance. And for me, balance is perfection. Balance, I don't know anybody who has ever achieved balance. And so really we're setting ourselves up to fail, which is harmony. Harmony is really the energy, the flowy energy. Notice how flowy her dress is on the card. Harmony is the flow, the energy in between our days, in between our schedules. It's finding the harmony and just the harmony in between. It's a very fluid feeling. And it says, embrace relationship and career opportunities. The choices you must make will create harmony in your heart and your future. And then the second card that popped up is Purify. Gorgeous card. Notice all of the colors on there. So all of the chakras. And it says your mind, body, and soul are tired and malnourished. Spiritually cleanse through meditation, yoga, or massage. Nourish your body by making healthy choices. These are the messages for 2021. Go with the flow and be sure to take care of yourself. It goes back to the self-care, self-love, because as we experience change, we've got to flow with the change, the harmony of the change, and the energies are going to be scattered high, meaning high vibration. It's going to be vibrating a lot, and to be sure to take care of yourself by purifying your energies. Thank you all so much for joining. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sending you much love.